The Berlanga family was one of the most settled in the area, the richest in the town. People said they had many businesses in the big cities of the country, but for some reason, they decided to continue living in the village, where they had a huge farm. From the entrance, you had to travel several kilometers to get to the house, and from there they ruled with the power of their money, although they had never approached politics. In the village, there were always strange disappearances. First, from time to time, some men. It was always rumored that they had gone to the north to work. But then, some boys began to disappear, always leaving without warning. Over time, girls also began to disappear, then children, then some whole families. People began to worry, to live with fear. Stories of witches and horrors that arrived at night to take the inhabitants of the area began to be told in disguise, with a lot of fear, in the talks of the old ladies, but none of that was close to reality. Once upon a time, a peasant went out with a load of chilies for a big city, they say Guadalajara. A few kilometers from the hacienda of the Berlanga, a 12-year-old girl ran across the road asking for help. He, scared and shocked, let her up, and one of his assistants who were down in the back came to help her. She was full of wounds, of bites, deep bites, with marks that seemed to be human teeth, some small and others large. When they cleaned her, they touched her shoulder and the girl screamed in pain. When they discovered it, they were horrified. A large piece of meat had been torn off her shoulder, a very deep piece. The mark was of a huge, disgusting mouth with crooked teeth. They accelerated. The girl repeated to them to flee, that they were not going to the town for any reason, because the police were not going to help them. In the city, they spoke to the local police, and a researcher went to the hospital where the girl was in. After questioning, talking to the peon, he left quickly. The young assistant asked the peon for permission to leave for a moment, scared. He never returned, neither to the hospital nor to the town for his family. People say something horrible happened to him. The truth is that the next day, the investigator returned to the hospital. The peasant had not wanted to leave the girl, and he spoke to them. This time the investigator was accompanied by a very elegant man, a powerful businessman, casually a business rival of the Berlanga. They swore that justice would be done. The Berlangas were protected by the police of the people, even by state authorities, but the mysterious businessman was more powerful. It is said that he spoke with Miguel Alemán himself a few weeks before he took possession as president. Hundreds of policemen arrived at the town. They entered strongly armed to the hacienda of the Berlanga. There, they met resistance. The peons, the workers of the farm, all fiercely defended the family. Even the young girls attacked the authorities when they entered. They assure that they looked like wild animals and that they did not stop fighting until they received several shots. What they found in the place left them horrified. The newspapers of the time echoed a lot. Hundreds, literally hundreds of bodies in the middle of being eaten. Elders, men, women, children. Children at an age in which they could barely walk, had been devoured. At some point years ago, the family had decided to take their power to the limit. Not satisfied with taking advantage of the people of the town and being rich at their expense, they had begun to fascinate themselves with trying them, devouring them, by performing horrendous, monstrous rituals in which they were eating them alive little by little while another group of victims watched full of terror, waiting for their turn. The girl who managed to escape had been captured with her sister. When it was her turn to participate in the ritual, both fought with all their strength to save themselves. The older sister, about 14 years old, fiercely attacked Miguelito, the youngest of the Berlangas, and tore one of his eyes off while he bit his sister like a beast in confusion. Between the cries of pain of the child, she managed to escape. The punishment for the other was the most painful and cruel death at the hands of Miguelito and the rest of the Berlanga. When the police arrived, the young woman still agonizingly leapt from the dolls. The family had been eating her little by little for 2 days. They had devoured her from her feet to her thighs. The police took those who survived from the Berlanga family. The people of the town took care of lynching 2 or 3 peons from the hacienda who had survived the massacre. But the Berlangas never got to be prosecuted, to be judged for their crimes. Only Don Abel, the patriarch of the family, an old man of almost 70 years. But of the others, nothing was known again.